YouTube, how you doing, Earthlings? I don't know if you noticed, but I've got all of these. This is my Harlequins Rugby Union get up, because yesterday they played in their, well, they're the last four in the Premiership, which I'm really pleased with how they got there, but I don't know how they've done yet, so I'll have to wait till Channel 5's programme tomorrow, the highlights. But anyway, this video is going to be about the things that I've learned about and discovered, and about the Space Shuttle, what was built, what it was used for, when they were built, that sort of thing. It's going to be nowhere near in depth, but I just thought I'd share with you the knowledge that I've... Sorry about that, bit of a wobbly moment. I've got accused, actually, well, not accused, I've got told that and rightly so, that my videos are poor quality sound and I move the camera about too much, and I move about too much, and I've noticed that I'm always picking my ears or something. I do have some sore points in my ears where they're not working properly, but anyway, I'll try and do that a lot less. But anyway, right, back to the subject. Yeah, what I've discovered, really. I mean, I'm not going to be able to do one of these fancy videos where all of the pictures come up on the screen, you know, through a movie maker or something, because I don't know how to work those things at the moment. So I'm just going to show you a picture from I'm just going to point my camera at my computer screen, and that's about as good as it's going to get, I'm afraid, because I'm currently building space shuttles. This is the STS-1 Columbia, the first ever launch of a space shuttle, and this is STS-135 Atlantis, where it's going to be once it's really dirtied up and made to look knackered, which is the last ever launch of the space shuttle. But anyway, so without further ado, I'm just going to line up my camera with as well as possible with my screen. Hopefully you can see it okay. Right, the first thing that was made in 1971, I do believe, was this mock-up of a fuselage. I've only got these three pictures, or two pictures of the actual fuselage mock-up. This is very interesting because it's built by Rockwell International, who built all of the other space shuttles. Well, all of the space shuttles that were used. Well, flight tests and things, but this is Rockwell International logos on the back of these two here. But this one's got an American Airlines logo on the back, which makes me think that they were maybe sort of looking at commercial flight ideas with the space shuttle to begin with. And then I've got this picture here, which is, I don't know what this is, but it's very old because it's black and white. Right, the next one that was built in 1972 was an actual full-size space shuttle mock-up, which was built by Rockwell International again. I'm going to go through these pictures individually. You see it's got the window shapes that we know and love. It hasn't got any of the orbital manoeuvring thrusters, but the basic shape of the shuttle is there, and they've got a mock-up of a sort of a satellite sitting up the top there, and it's also had the two windows at the top there for ejector seats. These are viewing the ejector seat panels were in more forward of these two viewing windows. But yeah, it's the basic shape of the space shuttle. So this is another view of the same one. And then this was used for sort of press and for Congress and to get funding that the space shuttle. Then a bit later on, they removed the left wing and the top half of the wing, the top 3/4 of the wing of the tail fin. And as you can see, there's much more accurate engine nozzles here with it. So you must have already developed the Rocketdyne. What they call again, the Rocketdyne RS-25 engines, which are currently actually being used in the space launch system, the SLS, all of the old engines that were left over from the Space Shuttle program are being used in the SLS. Right, so that was then. Then you go on to 1976 when they built the Enterprise, which is the vehicle they used for flight tests. It's actually called the Approach and Landing Test Vehicle, ALT. There's the logo for it, for one of the missions or some of the missions. And it would be launched from the back of a 747, and then sometimes with the cowling on the back to cover the engines, and then it would sort of land, being watched by some chase planes. I've actually got a picture here of the shuttle SCA, Shuttle Carrier Aircraft, that's it. And here you can see that the missions that it done with, where's the other picture that I had? There's another picture I have of it somewhere, I don't know. But yeah, it done, I think 2 or so, 5 free flights, I think some with the cowling on the back of the Enterprise, and then some without it, and then it done 57 ferry flights and of Enterprise, and then Columbia, and then it done quite a lot of ferry flights for the space shuttles, moving it around the countries. So yeah, that was built in 1976 by Rockwell International. It was given the OV, or Orbital Vehicle Designation Number 101, and it was actually named after the USS Enterprise 1701 from the first Star Trek, and it's now currently in on the aircraft carrier, the Intrepid, in New York, in the Intrepid Sea, Air and Space Museum in New York. That's where it is at the moment. It never actually went to space. So they did this so that they had used it for the approach and landing test, but then later on they used it for testing it in the launch position on the fuel tank and solid rocket boosters. These were the earlier tests with the white external tank, and then later on it went on to the tests with the orange tanks. There's one more with the white tanks. You can tell it's the Enterprise because it's got this very distinctive, early Enterprise, it's a very distinctive sort of black area at the front here, which was later painted to look more like the later shuttles. That wasn't actually the first space shuttle. Yeah, that was the first test space shuttle that was built. No, it wasn't. It was this one. This is the Space Shuttle Pathfinder, they call it, which was a test vehicle which was used to structural tests and wind tunnels and things, and that was built about the same weight and almost exactly the same size as the actual space shuttles were, and that was built by Marshall's Space Flight Center in 1977, and that had the orbital vehicle designation number of 098, so that was the first ever one. And they went on to build the Enterprise, which was the full-sized shuttle that, like I say, it was used for flight tests and on the boosters and the external tank. Then it's a bit odd really, because they built a OV, Orbital Vehicle Designation 099 in 1978, once again by Rockwell International, and that was used as a test vehicle, but that was a It wasn't made of sort of fiberglass and wood like the Enterprise was. It was made of actual space shuttle bits, and it was something that could be later turned into a space shuttle. I don't know what that one was called when it was. Yeah, it was called the Structural Test Article STA-099, 099, which later on became Challenger OV, Orbital Vehicle Designation 099. But first of all, I want to talk about Space Shuttle Columbia, because that was built in 1979, 1 year later than Challenger. Columbia was named after the Apollo STS-1 Columbia, one of the Apollo missions. And it flew 28 missions. It was the space shuttle of firsts, really. It was the first one to fly on the 12th of April 1981. It had 5 test flights before it had its first operational flight on the 11th of November 1982. Then it had another operational flight on STS-9, 28th of November 1983, entire year later. And it was the first non-American astronaut on a space shuttle. He was Israeli, I do believe. And then a whole 3 years later, before it flew again, and it carried the first sitting member of the House of Representatives. And then the next time it flew was a whole 3 years later after that. And that flight landed 10 days before Challenger went off on its last mission, when it blew up from taking off on the launch pad. So then it had another year delay before its next mission, and then it had quite a few other missions after that, until its final mission, which was on the 1st of February 2003, which is when it broke up on re-entry after a 16-day mission for orbiting the Earth, when they could have saved the crew and had a look. But apparently the head of NASA, Catherine Han, I think her name was, this woman here, she decided that no, we shouldn't be using NASA resources to look at the space shuttle. We should just take a chance. But so the 6 crew members of the space shuttle died because of her decision, unfortunately. Very sad. So yeah, it flew 28 missions, not 27 missions as it's shown here. But if I change this, in all of this order of my pictures that I have here will all change. I don't want that to happen, so I've just written inside there 28 missions. So go on to Challenger. This is the least used of all shuttles. It only done 10 missions before it blew up from the launch pad. It was named after the HMS Challenger from 1858. It first flew on STS-6 on the 4th of April 1988. Sorry, I've got to sort out Rosie. Oh, Rosie, in the bag. I don't know how I'm doing for time on this video. How's my battery going? It's okay. Yeah, so it flew, it was the 6th mission Space Shuttle flew, and it was the 2nd of the Space Shuttle orbiters that were built. It flew first on the 4th of April 1983, and it was the 28th of January 1986 when it blew up, taking off from the launch pad, which was very sad. Which was 7 crew died there. There's the crew. It included a first ever non-astronaut crew member. It's the school teacher. What was her name again? I can't remember. McAuliffe. Krista McAuliffe. That was it. Yeah, so I just want to go back to Columbia. Incredibly, when the when they pieced together what came down from when it was breaking up on the re-entry, the Space Shuttle weighs 230,000 pounds, and they only recovered 83,000 pounds of debris. Whether that includes the crew or not, I don't know. So yeah, I haven't got details about how much of the debris was recovered, but a vast majority of it remains on the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. There's a picture of the collected debris. I don't think I've got one. But yeah, it was I actually have a picture of the bit of the where is it? I actually have a picture of the actual part of the solid rocket booster. Here it is. This is the part of the solid rocket booster that failed, and this was the eventual hole that was burnt through that caused the death of the Challenger crew, which was very sad. Right, then in 1984 Discovery was added to the fleet. That flew 39 missions, the most missions of all of the space shuttles. It had 13 visits to the International Space Station. Just another point to that, neither Columbia nor Challenger were fitted with the correct docking mechanism to be able to allow them to go to ISS, so they never visited the International Space Station at all. Also, another point about Columbia and Challenger. Columbia was the heaviest of all the space shuttles because it was the first one made, and during its sort of 2-3 year breaks, it was given some weight reduction programs. Yeah, all right, Rosie. In a little while, I'm not going to be more than about 10 minutes more. Yeah, so trying to reduce its weight. They reduced the weight a bit more with Challenger, but the later three shuttles, Discovery, Atlantis, and Endeavour, were much lighter and much more streamlined and much better. Also, Columbia was the only one that had all of the surface covered with tiles. All the rest of them had large areas covered with these mats, these thermal blankets. Right, so yeah, so Discovery was named after HMS Discovery in 1774. Amazing how two of the space shuttles are named after British ships. I think actually the Endeavour was as well. Was it? Yeah, HMS Endeavour. So 3 of the 5 space shuttles were named after British naval vessels. Amazing. Space Shuttle Challenger, it blew up, so that's obviously can't be displayed anywhere. So Discovery is displayed at the Smithsonian's Stephen F. Udvar Hazy Center in Virginia, which is part of the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum area in Virginia, which is below New York. Alright, Rosie, I'll be there in a little while. Much more to say about. Yeah, paid 13 visits to ISS, International Space Station, which was the most out of the 3 space shuttles that visited it. Then came in 1985, which is just 1 year after Discovery, came Atlantis, which had 33 missions. This one's Atlantis here. First flew on 3rd of October 1985. It now resides at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. It was named after a US ship called the RV Atlantis. And that's about all I can say about that one. Endeavour, it was built in 1990, named after HMS Endeavour. It now resides at the California Science Center, and it made 13 visits to the ISS like Discovery did. Was it? Yeah. and it was the first of the space shuttles to start building the space station, ISS space station, International Space Station. It took up the European Space Agency's Unity module and mated it to the Russian Zarya module, which was launched on the 13th of August 1988. Right, other things that were built. This is a full fuselage trainer that was built for the Space Shuttle crew to train in, and this is at another museum somewhere. I don't know which one, I haven't got the details there. There was this nose section which they named Endeavour, which was used for training as well. They all just made out of cardboard and fiberglass. These are space shuttle trainers that were built. This was a nose section. It looks very similar to the nose section that was built originally by the first ever bit that was built by Rockwell International when they were testing it out. The picture I showed you earlier on, but I'm not sure if it is. This is apparently another flight trainer thing. This was one they used in the water for exiting in the water. This is another section they used for training the crew for flight training. This one here is called Space Shuttle Explorer. Well, it was originally called Space Shuttle Explorer, and it was sitting at the no, that's the wrong. Yeah, that'll be right. And it was sitting at the Kennedy Space Center when it was called Explorer, as a sort of a static display thing for tourists in their rocket park. And I actually visited this, and I picked a little bit of the Space Shuttle tyre off, and I kept it, but I appear to have lost it during the time of me living here. Yeah, so this was this would have been where it was when I visited it. Unfortunately, vandals broke in and sprayed graffiti all over it, and then it was moved to the Houston Space Center, and it was renamed Independence, Space Shuttle Independence. It was mated to a now unused Space Shuttle carrier aircraft, and that's their display they have there now. That picture doesn't come out very well, is it? So this is the display they have at Houston, which looks really good. And there's this one called Space Shuttle Ambassador. This was a full-size mock-up made by Coca-Cola that was used for just taking it around the country, the world, just to show people the Space Shuttle, and people pay money to go and see it. This thing here was a Space Shuttle Main Propulsion Test Article, or MPTA 098, or the boat tail as it was called. This was just an engine test article. That's that one. In the background you might have seen another space shuttle which was this one? No, sorry, it was yeah, that was Pathfinder in the background. That was a full-sized space shuttle mock-up that they made. That went on the display as a model. Right, so this is some pictures of it being built, some cutaway. This is a Shuttle-C, which was a proposed idea. They got round to building this mock-up of it. It was supposed to be an uncrewed version of the space shuttle, hence the cargo module, hence Space Shuttle C cargo. This was pictures of the external tanks. Yeah, the first external tank that was made unfortunately got blown over in the wind and ended up crushing this guy's van and got completely destroyed in the wind. But anyway, So these are the solid rocket boosters that have been through the engines, Space Shuttle main engines, or SSME. The Space Shuttle manoeuvring pods, crawler, launch tower. This was the Gulfstream shuttle training aircraft, Gulfstream 2 shuttle training aircraft, which has a cockpit in the same configuration as the Space Shuttle. So these are concept art for the concept of the actual Space Shuttle. Some other ideas, other configurations as well. But these are concept drawings of what would later become the Space Shuttle. This is a wind test model that they built out of aluminium for doing tests in the wind tunnel. That shouldn't be there. That is obviously shaped Space Shuttle Explorer, so that can go in here. Right, so this was a 1/4 scale Space Shuttle, which they used for testing it on the external fuel tank, just to see how that would work. And this was a 1/3 size Space Shuttle they built for wind tunnel tests when they were designing the Space Shuttle. That's about it really. I've got this other model here that is outside the Moffett Field Historic NASA Research Park. I don't know what scale that is. There's this other Space Shuttle that was built for a ride called Space Shuttle America. It was it was at Intamin, I suppose, ride place. There's this other Space Shuttle Adventure, which is inside the cockpit thing for people to go and see. Yeah, that's about it really. I've got this is my movies folder that I'm doing at the moment, to have all of the other movie Space Shuttles. Yeah, that's about it. So I'm going to leave it there. That's probably well long enough for this video. How long has it gone on for? A whole 27 minutes. I hope you find that quite interesting. I'm just actually going to show you some of these pictures of the Space Shuttle being built very quickly. Quite interesting to see the interior of how it looks. It's basically made of space grade aluminium, so it needed really good heat proof tiles to stop aluminium melting, because it's got a very low melting temperature compared to the Starship at the moment. It's being built by Elon Musk, the SpaceX Starship, which is made from stainless steel, which needs much less durable heat insulation. But yeah, some really nice and interesting pictures there of the Space Shuttle being built. Don't want to do that, do I? Yeah, close that. And this is actually some, very quickly, I just want to show you some Space Shuttle against the Soviet Buran Space Shuttle that they built. Apparently it was called the farewell documents or something, the farewell dossier, that was it. It's where America sort of gave fake, or not very good information about how to build things to the Russians, and that's apparently how they built the orbiter, which wasn't as good as the Space Shuttle, the US Space Shuttle. But the Energia, what they call their launch system, was much better than the US Space Shuttle. Solid rocket boosters and an external fuel tank. The external fuel tank was liquid fuel, but all of this was liquid fuel, and it was much better and much safer way of doing things. So, and they still use this Energia launch system today. These liquid boosters. So in some respects, the Soviet Buran Space Shuttle was better than the US one, but it only actually flew one mission to space, and that was it taking off, compared to the American Space Shuttle taking off, and it was carried on an Antonov, huge Antonov AN-225 aircraft. There's some more sort of comparison pictures. I'd like to actually just get a Space Shuttle model and try and do a Buran version of the Space Shuttle. It's not going to be much different really. There's all the different pictures of the... This is a very squashed down picture, I might have to adjust that. Yeah, so it had 4 of these side boosters which would have been recovered from the ocean, and the other fuel tank in the middle, which would have been... There's one of it, don't know quite how they done that one. I think this is just a picture off the... No, it might be the actual flight test model that went into space for a little bit, but it never carried any cosmonauts. So yeah, I'd love to have a model of the Russian Space Shuttle. There's a mad picture of space wars. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it there. So yeah, that's the last picture. I'm going to leave it there. Just going to leave you with a picture of the International Space Station and the Space Shuttle taken from Earth, which is now obviously a lot harder to take pictures of things from Earth because of all of the satellites that Elon Musk has launched up into space, all of the thousands of them, and other ones that have been launched recently. But anyway, that's a completely different subject. And thank you for watching this 30 odd minute video. I hope you found it interesting, going through my wealth of my entire bit of knowledge. In fact, there's a couple of other very short things I wanted to say about the Space Shuttle. There are some things down here that I wanted to... each of the Space Shuttles, well, I think it's probably Columbia, but it has 24,300 tiles, heat-proof tiles. On takeoff, they produce 7,500,000 tons of pounds of thrust. And yeah, that was it. So yeah, some other facts about the Space Shuttle. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and take care. Please watch one of these videos. I think up here somewhere is one that's been recommended especially for you, and there's some playlists and whatever. Please, alright Rosie, I'll be with you in a sec. Please like, subscribe, share, please leave a comment, and goodbye. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and take care out there.